and welcome to a special Year in Review program. This is a collaborative effort between ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation and SKNIS, and we're going to be looking back at some of the major events from 2016. I'm Jason Davis.
And I am Jamiella McPhail. The staff and students of the Valencia High School finally received a healthy and safe temporary location in January. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the brand new facility, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, said that the occasion was a special one for him as a past student of the Bastia High School.
Bastia High School is special to me as it has been my alma mater, and it gave me 2 wonderful years here at the sixth form, which was then housed here. So it is very special. And so for all the nice things that have been said about the school hitherto, I join in congratulating the school for a stalwart contribution to education over the years.
Commenting on the building, which temporarily houses the Forms 1, 2, 4, including the Learning Support Department, Prime Minister Harris said that the building was built to stand the test of time. In keeping with the promise made to provide the staff and students of the Bastia High School with a state-of-the-art modern high school, the Government of National Unity has decided to construct the compound in Pond site. Deputy Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis and Minister of Education, the Honorable Sean K. Richards, made that announcement in October.
Over the years, the Republic of China, Taiwan, has been very supportive of the Federation in numerous areas, and in 2016, they again demonstrated their commitment by donating office equipment to the JNF General Hospital. These included desktops, 4 Microsoft Surface Pros, and a multifunction HP laser color printer. Minister of Health, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, said the equipment will strengthen the hospital's information management system. He said the new equipment will, quote, have an immediate and direct impact on the accuracy and timeliness of treatment and diagnostic intervention, end quote. This was part of an ongoing project by the hospital to upgrade their record-keeping process, transferring from paper files to digital storage. Speaking of upgrades, in January, the fire department received a major boost with the acquisition of 2 new fire trucks. The government bought the vehicles from Indocom Limited at a cost of about $2 million. During the ceremony, Chief Fire Officer Everett O'Garo said this is part of a fleet renewal plan that will replace old fire trucks that were in use at the time. The trucks have a total capacity of 1,500 gallons, one of which can carry 250 gallons more than the previous models. One vehicle was to be stationed at the Sandy Point Fire Station and the other at the Bastia Fire Station.
The Government of National Unity took a step towards modernization of government business on February 18th with the launch of the new government's e-portal. Attorney General and Minister of Communications, the Honorable Vincent Byron Jr., described the e-portal as a magnificent advancement in the lives of every citizen. He said that it was indeed significant to highlight the fact that the Team Unity administration was able to achieve this launch within the first 12 months of the government's assuming office.
In February, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris announced the appointment of a new police high command led by former Deputy Commissioner of Police Ian Quealy. Dr. Harris said that Mr. Quealy has over 30 years as a police officer, half of which he has served at strategic management and executive levels. Former commander of the Nevis Division, Superintendent Hilroy Brandy, has been appointed Deputy Commissioner of Police and has responsibility for the Service Improvement Directorate. Former Superintendent of Police Terence James is now Assistant Commissioner of Police with responsibility for the Operations Directorate. Former Superintendent Andre Mitchell has been appointed as Assistant Commissioner of Police and has responsibility for the Crime Directorate. Meanwhile, former Superintendent Merslin Hughes has been appointed Assistant Commissioner of Police with responsibility for the Administration, Resources, Technology, and Intelligence Directorate. The Prime Minister challenged the new High Command to ensure that words, policies, and strategies are converted into crime reduction. He said, quote, "It is your responsibility for making our communities safer for citizens, residents, businesses, and tourists. We, the members of the public, will work with you," end quote.
A $1.8 million outdoor sports lighting upgrade to the new Sandy Point Recreation Ground was completed just in time for the townfolk and nearby villagers to enjoy the staging of the Charles E. Mills Secondary School Sports Day. The 20-year-old facility has served as the home of major sporting and entertainment functions over the years. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Sport, the Honorable Sean K. Richards, described the investment as worthwhile.
And later in the year, a $500,000 upgrade was completed at the Warner Park Cricket Stadium to prepare it for various international games, including the West Indies Tri-Nation Series and the Caribbean Premier League 2020 tournament. Director in the Department of Sport, Anthony Wiltshire, said, quote, "To get the Jumbotron up to the required standard, the government invested just about $15,000 US, end quote. Other upgrades included renovating the bars, a new paint job, repairing elevators, new nets in the practice area, and an overhaul of the bathrooms. And the new facilities were put to good use when Ambassador John L. Powell organized a viewing party for fans to share in the West Indies' victory when they won the T20 Championship. Locals and visitors alike celebrated together, some even breaking into their version of Dwayne Bravo's champion dance.
Jacqueline Leonora Brown, Mercelyn Hughes, Maureen Dickinson, Cheryl Ward, Rosalind Connor, and Melvie James were this year's International Women's Day awardees. These pioneering women were awarded for their contribution in law enforcement, military and rescue services, sciences, media and information communications, technology, agriculture, and industry. The women were honored on March 8 at the annual International Women's Day Award ceremony and breakfast, which was this year held under the theme Pledge for Parity.
Meanwhile, 10 men were honored at the International Men's Day ceremony in November. International Men's Day is observed on November 19, and the objectives include focusing on men's and boys' health, improving gender relations, promoting gender equality, and highlighting male role models. It's an occasion to celebrate their achievements and contributions, in particular, contributions to the community. The men were honored for their service in various fields, including General Manager of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, Veer Galloway, for his contribution to media. This year's International Men's Day activities were held under the theme, Making a Difference for Men and Boys.
Government officials, as well as heads of diplomatic missions, local and abroad, joined colleagues in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to officially launch Diplomatic Week 2016 under the theme, Forging New Partnerships and Strengthening Networks for Sustainable Growth and Economic Development. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Aviation, the Honorable Mark Brantley, urged all to use the opportunity to build capacity and to strengthen networks.
In May, regional experts, including policymakers and members of the international energy community, gathered in St. Kitts and Nevis for talks on geothermal energy development in the OECS. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris said he was confident that the discussion will help realize great benefits for the region. He referred to the U.S. Caribbean Central American Energy Summit held in Washington and urged forward movement in the creation of a framework on the region's geothermal strategy. Significant risks continue to inhibit geothermal development within the region, and these risks can be mitigated through partnerships.
St. Kitts and Nevis was congratulated this year by the U.S. Deputy Chief of Missions to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Laura Greismer, for being the first of 3 countries to pass the Model Child Justice Bill into law. Ms. Greismer was at the time addressing the closing ceremony of the OECS Juvenile Justice Reform Project. Minister of Community Development, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, said that the reform project has positively contributed to the programs at the New Horizons Juvenile Rehabilitation Center. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, led an official delegation of the government officials on a visit to the Republic of China on Taiwan for the inauguration and historic swearing-in of Taiwan's 14th term president and vice president. Reporting on the official visit, Prime Minister Harris described the trip as beneficial. He indicated that the Government of National Unity strongly believes in diligently pursuing the people's agenda, and as such, The visit focused on that.
The tunnel along the Sir Kennedy Simmons Highway along the Southeast Peninsula was officially opened, bringing relief to drivers who were worried about the hazards of falling rocks along the road. Following a brief ceremony attended by Governor General His Excellency Sir S.W. Tapley Seaton, GCMG CVO QCJP, former Prime Minister Sir Kennedy Simmons, Deputy Prime Minister the Honourable Sean Richards, and Minister of Public Infrastructure the Honourable Ian Liburd, and senior public works officials, the newly constructed tunnel in the area was opened. Managing Director of ADB Consultants Martel Lee said the aim was to build a tunnel that would stand the test of time. Minister of Public Infrastructure the Honourable Ian Liburd commended the vision of former Prime Minister Simmons in the construction of the road over 25 years ago, and the advantages to be gained from the newly constructed tunnel fall in line with that vision, he said.
On Wednesday, June 29th, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, disclosed several transfers to be made in a number of senior civil servant positions. Most of the announcements were made in relation to and as a direct result of changes made within the Ministry of Health. To compensate the Ministry of Education for the vacancy created by the departure of the Permanent Secretary, the Prime Minister disclosed that the government has already made necessary provisions to have the position filled by Mr. William V. Hart.
St. Kitts and Nevis's first Prime Minister, the Right Excellent Sir Kennedy Alphonse Simmons, made history as the first living national hero when in June he was conferred with the highest award of the country, the Order of National Hero. He was among two other distinguished nationals of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis who were awarded for their sterling contribution to nation building at an investiture ceremony held by His Excellency the Governor General Sir S.W. Tapley Seaton at Government House. One of the awardees, Keith Scarborough, was formally conferred with the award of Member of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, or MBE, for his outstanding contribution to the arts. And Clarita Violet Richards was bestowed with the award of Officer of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire.
The advantages as well as the disadvantages of the Federation being home to the green vervet monkey were analyzed at what was called a monkey summit. Here's more in this SKNIS report.
In finding ways to tackle the monkey situation in St. Kitts, a recently conducted Monkey Summit was held by the Department of Agriculture. Presented are remarks by the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, Minister of Agriculture et al. In this SKNIS Current Speeches.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Agriculture and monkeys don't go together. In fact, I see no monkeys here. And it tells me something, because this species, these intelligent species are not here. I'm beginning to wonder if the fault is that of our Director of Agriculture. Because had it been communicated well enough, I'm sure these monkeys are so intelligent they would have been here.
The participation of the St. Kitts and Nevis national track and field team in Brazil at the Rio Olympics in August was described as a source of pride for the Federation by Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Sport, the Honourable Sean Richards. Antoine Adams competed in the men's 100, 200 and 4x100 metre races, Kim Collins and Bridget Lawrence in the men's 100 and 4x100 metres, and the lone female, Tamika Williams, in the women's 200 metres. Jason Rogers, Lestrade Rowland and Alistair Clark participated in the men's 4x100 metres. However, a bad baton receptions in the relay race led to speculation that may have cost St. Kitts Nevis a position in the next round.
And St. Kitts and Nevis going well. Antigua trying to stay in the mix. Down the back straight. America from China on the inside. Canada going well. There was an awful mix up there with St. Kitts and Nevis. And now the Americans...
Meanwhile, the outfits worn by the team at the opening ceremony also made a big impression. Essence magazine rated the uniforms as among the best of the more than 200 featured. And in August, the Mary Charles Hospital was fully reopened following extensive renovation work. Minister of State responsible for health, the Honourable Wendy Phipps, said the renovation is an exemplary example of public and private sector cooperation. It was noted that the hospital had fallen into a state of disrepair, and the roof over the female ward had fallen in approximately a year ago following some heavy rains. The total construction cost was assessed to be $650,000. Up to that point, $890,000 had been spent. A small section that had previously housed a dental unit had remained open to serve as a health center. That section would be renovated now that the hospital had reopened.
Law enforcement and security officials under the umbrella of the Regional Security Systems, RSS, were in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis to lend support to local police in operational engagements. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, revealed this on Monday, September 18th, as he addressed the nation in the traditional radio and television broadcasts to mark the more than 3 decades of political independence from Great Britain.
5 of the Federation's heroines were awarded on National Heroes Day, September 16, for their stellar contribution to nation building on the eve of the country's 33rd anniversary of independence on September 19. It was celebrated under the theme Promoting Prosperity Through Sustainability and National Unity. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris made the announcement on Observance Day of the country's national heroes, where the ground for the building of a historic National Heroes Park to be a home of the country's national heroes was dedicated and consecrated. Lady Huldah Lawrence was awarded the Star of Merit for services in music, Clarice Cotton bestowed with the Medal of Honor for services in education and special education in particular, Sylvia Isaac was conferred the Medal of Honor for services in health and nursing in particular, Vanta Walters presented with the Medal of Honor for services in education and early childhood education in particular, and Dahlia John was granted the Medal of Honor for services in technical vocational education and training and TVET and hospitality in particular. Prime Minister Harris noted that when it comes to honoring national heroes, the nation cannot be boxed in by party politics. The aim of the National Heroes Park was to provide a space where all of the nation's heroes can be honored.
Dinette Eversley of Trinidad and Tobago is in St. Kitts and Nevis to help guide the establishment of a federal youth policy. Ms. Eversley is no stranger to the Twin Island Federation, as she frequently visited and engaged with local officials while serving as the program manager of the Commonwealth Youth Program of the Commonwealth Secretariat from 2004 to 2014. During and after her tenure with the Secretariat, Ms. Eversley worked with several Caribbean countries on the youth development initiatives, including Antigua and Barbuda, Belize, the British Virgin Islands, Dominica, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Lucia, and Turks and Caicos. St. Kitts and Nevis's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Youth, the Honourable Sean K. Richards, said that he was grateful for the technical and financial support from the Commonwealth Secretariat and UNESCO in this process. In his address to open Police Week of Activities on October 29, 2016, under the theme Creating a Better Federation Through Enhanced Citizen Safety, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis and Minister of National Security, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, underscored the importance of the St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. Senator Keela Byron Nisbet took the oath of office as Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly on the 18th of November at a special sitting at the National Assembly in the National Assembly chambers at government headquarters. Senator Byron Nisbet's elevation as Deputy Speaker follows on the heels of Senator Michael Perkins, who was elevated to the Speaker of the National Assembly from Deputy Speaker after Speaker Franklin Brand's resignation was declared in May of this year due to ill health.
In November, St. Kitts Nevis hosted a visit by His Royal Highness Prince Henry of Wales. Here's more in this report from ZIZ. The Prince arrived at the Port Zante Marina, where he was met by Governor-General His Excellency Sir Tapley Seaton, GCMG CVO QCJP. He then made his way to the arrival hall for a guard of honor by the St. Kitts Nevis Defence Force and the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, where he inspected the troops. Led by Acting Prime Minister the Honourable Sean Richards, the Prince shook hands with numerous dignitaries, including government officials, national hero Sir Kennedy Simmons, and Leader of the Opposition, the Right Honourable Dr. Denzil Douglas. Dozens of persons came out to Port Zante to witness the historic event, and Prince Harry took time to shake hands and speak with many of them, particularly school children. One little girl gave him a drawing, which he put in his coat pocket. Prince Harry's arrival in the Federation is part of a Caribbean tour on behalf of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The Prince's itinerary included a youth rally at Brimstone Hill and a visit to Nevis.
Prime Minister of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, expressed solidarity and offered condolences to the Cuban people on the death of their leader, El Comandante Fidel Castro. He came into power in the Cuban Revolution in 1959.
The government and people of Cuba have for a very long time been excellent allies of the people of the Caribbean region, the Caribbean in particular, and in fact St. Kitts and Nevis at the same level. We have enjoyed excellent relations between our two peoples and governments, and on the sad passing of former President Fidel Castro. It grieves all of us, and we certainly would want, in a very tangible way, to express our grief.
Castro, who ruled the Caribbean nation of Cuba with 11 million people for almost 50 years, died on Friday, November 25th. He was 90.
In December, mental health care in St. Kitts made a significant step forward with the opening of a day treatment center in Limekeel. Here's more in the ZIZ report. Construction on the Mental Health Day Treatment Center started in February of 2015 and is a joint collaboration between the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean Development Bank through the Basic Needs Trust Fund. The project cost around $1.3 million, with the government footing about 90% of the cost. During the handing over ceremony, project manager Calvin Pemberton outlined how the center addresses various factors that would need to be monitored to treat mental health issues.
The attributes of this healing facility and its environment is a response to lighting, the elimination of environmental stressors, safety, security, observation, avoidance of visual disturbance, color, group interaction, and access to nature.
Minister of Health, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, noted that it is critical to have facilities in place to address mental health, as anyone is susceptible to the causes of mental illness.
Pressures because of job insecurity, economic instability, catastrophic illness in the family, accidents. We are all exposed, and our day may come. So it behooves us to ensure that there are structures to support social norms in order to minimize degeneration in our society.
Minister of State responsible for health, the Honorable Wendy Phipps, noted that through this new center, the focus is on rehabilitation.
What we hope to do with this mental health day treatment center is to provide an avenue for rehabilitation for those persons who we wish to see reintegrated in community life. I think even for those who are more acute who are housed at the hospital, that is our greatest wish for them as well. And it is for that reason why the standard operating procedures that would govern the management of this center would take into consideration all of the various facets of processing and evaluation that patients would be required to go through in order to assess their readiness for use by a center of this kind.
According to information out of government headquarters, the Federation has seen an increase in the number of persons with various forms of mental illnesses. Now, the causes range from substance abuse to domestic violence to just being unable to cope with various life issues. Now, what this center does is it provides care and services which add to the already existing mental health services, which are all aimed to put these persons back on the road to recovery.
The opening of the first oncology unit in St. Kitts was described as the dawn of a new and brighter day for cancer care in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. At a ceremony to mark the launch at the Joseph and France General Hospital, Chief Surgeon and Medical Chief of Staff Dr. Cameron Wilkinson said that he has worked at the health institution for the past 20 years and he has seen the health services transform to offer the best quality health care to residents.
The opening of the Oncology Center at the Joseph and France Hospital signals the dawn of a new and brighter day for cancer care in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. This center will add years to the lives of people living with cancer. This center will ensure that breadwinners in families not simply succumb to their disease, but continue their active lives while they receive the appropriate and timely treatment. This center will ensure that no one will die because they could not afford to travel overseas for treatment.
We now join Press Secretary to the Prime Minister, Valencia Grant, for a look at some of the activities that Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris has been engaged in over the past year.
Welcome to the Year in Review presented by the Press Unit in the Office of the Prime Minister. The year 2016 was an exceptional one for Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris and his Team Unity government. They continued to push forward their people-oriented policies and prosperity agenda, ensuring the improved quality of life for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Prime Minister Harris received the prestigious Goosey Peace Prize, which is the award for the great achievers of the world and Asia's equivalent of the Nobel Peace Prize. He received it in Manila, Philippines. In New York City, he made a significant impact at the United Nations. And right here at home, he continued to champion the advancement of the citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis. Here are some highlights.
Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris was honored for his outstanding statesmanship during the Goosey Peace Prize International 2016 Annual Awards Night at the Philippine International Convention Center in Manila on Wednesday, November 23rd. The next day, Thursday, November 24th, Prime Minister Harris visited the Manila campus of Lyceum of the Philippines University and made quite an impression on its students.
Goosey Peace Prize main objective is to give recognition through the conferment of awards of excellence and distinction to individuals or groups worldwide who have distinguished themselves as brilliant exemplars of society or who contributed towards the attainment of peace and respect for human life and dignity. Please help me welcome its 2016 awardees. And we met the first to arrive early this morning, our beloved Prime Minister from St. Kitts and Nevis, Prime Minister Timothy Harris.
2 months before his successful visit to the Philippines, Prime Minister Harris distinguished himself during his trip to New York City. I filed the following report.
Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris is at the 71st session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York City, where on the fringes of the general debate, he spoke at a small group discussion organized by the Clinton Global Initiative. The small group discussion, titled Combating Teen Pregnancy, Cervical Cancer, and HIV in Caribbean Girls and Women, was held on Wednesday, September 21st, 2016, the final day of the Clinton Global Initiative's 2016 annual meeting. The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis serves as the Caribbean community's lead head on human resources, health, and HIV/AIDS. During the Clinton Global Initiative session, Prime Minister Harris praised the successes of CARICOM in human development and health, and he also thanked former U.S. President Bill Clinton, as well as the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton Global Initiative for their invaluable support. The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis is scheduled as the 6th speaker between 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. during the general debate at the UN headquarters on Saturday, September 24th.
Back at home in 2016, Prime Minister Harris and his Team Unity administration presented another tax-free budget and gave roughly 10,000 persons a double salary, resulting in approximately 30 million EC dollars being pumped into the economy.
We as civil servants are thankful for the double salary, and we think that we deserve it because of the hard work, and it will also help to boost the economy with a lot of spending that will be happening, and in a sense we'll be helping to raise the level of the economy.
I put in my head one particular project that I would have liked to have completed And if there was no double salary, I may have placed that on hold. Having the double salary, I'm therefore able to complete the project, have something for my church, treat myself, since I don't do that pretty often, and give something to the poor. So the double salary, most honestly, is very much welcome.
The double salary at the talk of the town, everybody excited. That's the big talk. The double salary, everybody waiting on this money. Soon everybody get up, people, poor people. Long time we want this money.
People are also talking about the ambitious public infrastructure and housing programs that Prime Minister Harris and his Team Unity administration are pushing forward.
I'm very excited actually, and I feel, what a wonderful Christmas gift. Not just to me, but really for the residents of the Grange, and also for the extension of the Grange. What a wonderful gift. I'm really, grateful for this administration to really listen to us at last, and we are so really grateful. I mean, the road doesn't lead to nowhere. It leads to a very beautiful establishment externally, and you're entitled to a little tour internally. You've only got to look at the patients' faces to see how happy they are, and so forth. We are providing a service, and I think that any service deserves a very good infrastructure coming down to it.
We're looking at the roads, the dirt roads in the housing developments, which need to be converted to concrete or concrete or asphalt, but in most instances we use concrete. Now, this also would be very expensive. We have at the moment identified in a first tranche, so to speak, about 28 or so of these road housing developments. And I think the cost for those initial 28 is in the vicinity of $65 million. So there are in total over 70 land subdivisions / housing developments that need roads. And so you could extrapolate as to, the cost is going to be quite significant. In terms of the initial 28 housing developments that we're looking at, they're spread throughout the island. Some that come to my mind would be in Keon, we're looking at the Cabbage Tree Phase 2. That is an area where development housing has been taking place at a fairly accelerated rate. Well, we have started here, as you can see, at the Otley's extension. There's in the Bastille area, the East Bastille area, there's Taylor's. There's the Taylor's area. On the other side, on the western side of the island, we're looking at, I think, in Stonefort area, and all around the island. Every community, every village, most likely will get impacted by the initial set of roads.
Now if I get a couple of kids, I say, this is time for me to stand up like a man and look for my kids and them and get them somewhere to live. This is for my kids. My mother died, left her old board house for me, and I can mash it up. And I thank God for this Prime Minister for doing some good for me.
Why are tears coming to your eyes now?
Joy. Joy.
About?
Everything that what the man have done for everybody.
I greatly appreciate that. That when we go to the grocery stores, that the high cost and the high rate of VAT is not really affecting us as it once did before. I think that they have been doing a good job for the country thus far in such a short period of time.
So you're a former sugar worker?
Yes. Yes.
And you received payment under the Team Unity government?
Yes, 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 yes. And I love him so much. From the bottom of my heart, I love him.
When he came into power, he allowed for CARICOM nationals to have, go in and regularize themselves. I'm okay. I'm more secure. You can WhatsApp him. You can WhatsApp him at any time or text him at any time and you get back a reply.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
That's more than enough because you can't get anywhere else in the world you can't get that.
Any idea? Anything else you'd like to say?
Thanks for everything he has done for me so far. Thanks.
The things which this Team Unity administration has done are the things that the people wanted to have done. And of course, there are more things to be done. And by God's grace, we are going to do our endeavor best to accomplishment. But our list of accomplishment has personally, positively impacted on the lives of the people.
Thank you for joining the press unit in the Office of the Prime Minister for this year in review. Happy New Year. We'll see you again in 2017.
In November, Donald Trump was elected President of the United States, and we went out into the street to find out what the average man or woman thought about his victory.
I am not pleased at all. I am not pleased. America really put Trump inside here. This man had so much to say about black people, about the people that will build America up. And they're going to put Trump in, put the keys of the world inside a crazy man hand. I'm not pleased at all. It's like I'm in shock. I am shocked America did that.
Be good, Trump them, you check? Because what I'm saying is an independent place. But right now in America, you got brothers and sisters up there, and they're sending a love bands and jams for me, yeah. So let them take that, you check? Yeah, that's how we feel. Trump them.
For me, the results are a bit shocking, although at one point I figured Trump would have emerged the winner. But based on how the campaigns and the debates and the conventions were going, at one point Hillary seemed to be in the leading position. But at one point I actually figured that Trump would have emerged victorious.
I don't think that is a good choice. Anybody who starts off on a bad leg, doing bad, and trying to make things happen in a good way after, I don't think he can be good for nobody. The reason why I say he can be good because he got bad intention. He ain't thinking about developing, like saying, well, you know, people come together, we could develop. He thinking about breaking down even his next door brothers them, buying them out. I can't see that as good. When you come a president, you come a president because of everybody, even the whole world, because president mean like you're in charge of state and state out. Do you understand?
And that brings us to the end of this special Year in Review program, a collaborative effort between ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation and SKNIS. I'm Jason Davis.
And I am Jamiella McPhail.
And we're wishing you a bright and prosperous 2017.